a macro strategy. Let's get it, huh? Welcome to the trade room, y'all. Welcome to the trade room, y'all. It's a macro strategy. Welcome to the trade room, y'all. Thanks for coming through today. It's a macro mindset channel. We're thinking big picture. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe and leave a comment. Now, let's turn it up a notch. It's a macro strategy. It's a macro strategy. We in this crypto space. Kick back, get a snack in the cold case. We are here for the macro, the long race. DeFi, GameFi, and the right games. We are here for the tech and the price gains. This is blockchain. This is our lane. Welcome to the trade room, y'all. It's a macro strategy every day. Welcome to the trade room, y'all. Yeah. Now let's go now. Yeah. Now let's go now. Bring it back for me one time. Bring it back for me two times. Welcome to the trade room, y'all. Welcome to the trade room, y'all. It's a macro strategy. Welcome to the trade room, y'all. Now welcome to the trade room, y'all. Now welcome to the trade room, y'all. It's a macro strategy. Welcome to the trade room, y'all. Thanks for coming again, guys. I'm gonna catch ya on the other side. Deuce.
What's up? Welcome to the trade room on this macro Saturday. And we're coming from quite a bullish time in the markets the last few months into a little bit of red. And so welcome to this macro Saturday. We're going to talk about everything crypto related, but today we do have a special show lined up for everyone, and that is the first hour of this podcast is the DFK Helper AMA. DFK AI Helper Ask Me Anything. So if you're here, put a thumbs up. We have some good, amazing things to talk about on this macro Saturday. Shout out to the chat room. I believe we have Kong in the building. Welcome, Kong. Saw you over, I believe, were you over at ETH Denver? I'm not sure if you were at ETH Denver. But shout out to you. So before I bring one of the DFK Helper devs on, just a little bit of or the DFK Helper lead dev, let's preparing what we're gonna be doing on today's stream. First hour is gonna involve DFK Helper AMA. We have a few questions that we have lined up for him, and also for my specific DFK Helper account. We're gonna have him take a look at it based upon the goals that I may have in mind and what my sheets and such and so are looking like. So without further ado, let's get the lead dev here for our AMA. Zelys, how are we doing?
What's up? Good. How you doing?
I'm good. Welcome to the macro Saturday. As you know, on this channel, we look at the charts and we look at the shorter time frames and the finer details of things, but we also think macro, we think big picture, we think economics, and we think ecosystems that are set up to allow long-term building and long-term longevity and long-term health. And so glad to have you here with us to talk about DFK Helper and everything that goes with that. What are you before we dive and dig in, what are you seeing overall in the crypto space in general, and what are your thoughts of the last few months?
Well, in general, we're seeing the market go back up to what I would say is normality, right? I think we're headed back to normality.
Mm.
We're about to see our bull market any moment now, historically between now and like May, June. We should see it skyrocket, and that will probably end about 9 months later, historically again. And during that time, we'll see the main coins pump and meme coins go nuts. And there's like a new meme coin every day now. And yeah, so all that mania, right? The crypto mania. It's starting to pick it back up again.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. I actually don't disagree with uh with that timeline at all, because it you know until you get to those all-time highs, it is kind of a run to normalcy. And is
Right?
interesting to hear you say that, because some would think, oh my goodness, we're close to the top of the market. And
Yep.
that's a succinct way to put it. We're back to normalcy. This is where we
Normal,
kind of should be, based upon our previous cycles, right?
right? All
So
of the previous cycles.
all of the previous cycles, yeah. So let's take a look at the chat. We're gonna look to get started on a few of these questions soon, but there's a pre-pending that I'd like for you to lay to us, right? We have emerging in the building. Um, what's up? What's up? We have Facundo in the building. I may have to adjust your thumbnail here. Let me see if I can make a little adjustment to get you in a better spot. I'll just put you over your I'll put you over your PFP. You okay with that?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, cool. We have Kong. Always great to see you, Zelys. So yeah, shout out to the chat. Kupo in the building. Kupo is a big community individual in the ecosystem. I see him around all the time. Shout out to Kupo. So can you give us a pre-pending of what DFK Helper is? And uh, you know the AI aspect of it, and how that came about. Just give us that groundwork to lay out where we are, and then we can dig into some of these interesting questions that we've had.
Okay. Are you looking for just like a basic summary, or are you looking to like go off the infographic?
We could do a basic summary.
Okay. Sorry, so rephrase the question. Sorry, I'm lost on
Yeah,
this.
yeah, no. So we're
Crazy.
just we're kicking in, and for somebody who may be listening for the first time, what is DFK
Ah,
Helper, and why is there AI feature to it? What's that about?
okay. So yeah, the AI is here to help people play DFK. The DFK development has historically been one of great backend development, like development in the contracts, but pretty slow development on the user interface, right? And that makes sense in the sense of trying to push out as many features as fast as possible. But the issue is that the user interface lags behind, and so it takes a long time for people to be able to do things that they want to do in the game. The AI makes it possible to play the entire game for someone that's not awake all day just to play the game, because that's what it would take, right? To do the hunts, to do the duels, to do the quests, to do swapping and arbitration and summoning, right? You just can't do it all unless you get some help. And so that's where the helper came out. The name DFK Helper, because it's just help. It doesn't play the game for you. It just helps you play the game better. It takes away the stress. It takes away that need to check your phone every 8 hours and whatnot.
Yeah. No, I that the helper part is the part where when I first saw DFK Helper, I was like, oh, okay, DFK Helper. And but when you broke down the helper part, that There's been certain things put in place to have a better ease of use and ease of life, but it is still to the point where this can be very life consuming, right?
Oh, yeah.
um and
Addictive, yeah.
and as somebody who comes in and understands psychology, there can come to a place if you do actually integrate yourself into this ecosystem, you may ignore the entire rest of your life, right? Because
Right.
that's how all encompassing the space is. And even to know, oh my goodness, this is only about 20% of the actual development for the game, right? I think maybe about 8 to 12 months ago, there was the team said that there's about 15% of the game completed. I think at this point we are at least at 20 to 22%, right? And so the helper aspect of this was a godsend, like Sticks Intern would say, right? And so um you, you know where does the AI portion come into DFK Helper? Because obviously the kind of environment we're in the overall markets, right? You have the stock market that has the AI equities. Nvidia is really what's part of the Magnificent Seven that's carried the stock market. About 80% of the gains that we're seeing, and then you have just the overall technology space, which is there's a rush to embrace AI. And so, what is the AI feature of DFK Helper? And what is set in place now, and what is possibly to come?
Yeah, so, initially it was just about making it easy as far as the user interface, right? That was the original plan, but since Helper is what we're here to do, right? To help the ecosystem and not just our players, it evolved into this other thing, as you know, like the gas cartel that we used to keep gas prices down on the chain enormously these days, and other features like the swapping between things. Like, for example, when a user sells or buys their stuff, they don't want to have to check the bazaar, the trader, the gold vendor, see which is best to sell it to, that kind of thing. And the AI does that automatically, so people can use whatever platform they like, the trader, the bazaar, etc. And the AI makes sure they're all like balanced out, as far as liquidity and pricing, etc. Um, and yeah, and lately, like the crystal profiteer, the TQ profiteer feature that I
Hmm.
released, was it yesterday, the day before? Um, yeah, that's basically the same thing. So I noticed there's a huge difference in pricing and liquidity between the different crystals. Finesse crystals, right now are like super high because everybody wants an archer for their hunt, right? And they keep throwing them in the pit. Um, so yeah, they need a lot of those. And so now the AI is able to address those shortages by having everyone that's enabled it make
Hmm.
all their TQ questers go into that high value crystal.
Hmm.
And yeah, which again lowers the price of the high value crystals, raises the price of the ones we're no longer questing for, right? So they get a more agreeable price. And I might even soon incorporate it, if the community wants it, into regular questing, which is to say that when there's such a huge discrepancy in pricing, the AI could automatically make all the heroes in the wallet, for example, right, go after that crystal, which would be pretty interesting to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stuff like
Yeah.
this. This is what the AI to me is about. It's about like this collective effort where all of us AI users are positively affecting, helping the DFK ecosystem. The more heroes under the AI, the more activity that's under the AI, the better it can organize it, when the transactions takes place, spread them out, avoid peaks in gas price, avoid supply, gluts and overextensions and all that sort of thing. So there's really no limit to what the AI can do. The AI is basically all of us and our best ideas.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's an interesting way to lay it out because you know, we had a conversation previously, and I was saying, hey, you know, since I've been utilizing the AI, and I was like, oh, it's making better decisions than me, right? And maybe because it's a representation of not only myself but every other possible user that could be using
Right,
it
right.
over a period of time. And so not only does it give the ability for somebody coming in new to the space to feel like there is some ability to have some understanding and assistance, but for those who are already here as well, it's, I feel like as different strategies, and this is the ecosystem of a million possible strategies go on, you're still going to be able to command your legion and claim your legacy. You're just doing it with better tools, and DFK Help was a part of that, right? So
Right.
appreciate that breakdown. And looking at some of these stats here, you know, for 2024, looking at this, I mean, it's doing this at a pretty high clip. I mean, talk to us about some of this data here.
Yeah. So what this shows is the transactions the AI has done on behalf of its users since 1 January of this year. Um, as you know, in 2023, we did like 26 million transactions and whatnot, and that's on a Twitter post that even Dreamer liked. But this one is for this year, 2024.
Mm-hmm.
And as you can see here, there are 245,000 raffle entries, 1,247 uses of the bazaar, that's actual swaps, 220,000 trader swaps, 795 sales to the gold vendor, which kept prices from dropping at the trader, right?
Mm-hmm.
43,500 duels, but then again, that was only like 2 weeks, right? 1 through 15 January. We haven't had any duels since.
Yeah.
Summons, there were 10,000 auto summons using
Mm-hmm.
the AI. Most
Mm-hmm.
of those, for what I saw, went into the pit. Easy come, easy go, right? We
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
about 2,000 hunts that were started by the AI. That's been picking up lately as people have incorporated, because the issue is that, you know, I release a feature and often it takes weeks to months for people to be like, okay, I'll try it out.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm the
That's
same.
that's happening here with the hunts. It's picking
Yeah.
up as more people use it.
Okay. You know,
Um,
the thing that just catches my eye is the bazaar, right? And the bazaar is something that even when it was released, it's even kind of similar to what you just, the sentiment you spoke of, where there's a release and players are not really um not only, yes, understanding the mechanism, but also too how critical the use of a specific development is for the ecosystem. So the bazaar is, we have a dex, but the bazaar is the best representation of a swap within the dex.
right.
And a part of what makes DeFi Kingdoms is the amount of transactions that are flowing through this ecosystem. And so not only do we have the GameFi space, but we also compete with some of the best and biggest dexes out there, you know, your sushi swaps and things of that nature. And so if including an AI feature with something like DFK Helper is going to help in increasing that agenda, then that's pretty interesting to see. And it makes me more bullish on the ecosystem, you know, as well.
Plus those other benefits, right? Like here at the end, I added more recently the pets fed and the power ups assigned.
The pets
The,
fed is great because it's very annoying
look at
to
that
have
number though.
to look at that number. I mean,
That's a lot of
it's
materials burned.
listen, yeah, you know, and this is at the point where the pets don't even have that much utility in the game.
Yeah.
You know, what happens when the pet utility is now connected to combat, you know, and different things as well. So these stats, I always say numbers don't lie, right? When I do the charts and I follow the patterns, and you always say numbers don't lie. For the most part, they don't. And you know, we're seeing a lot of volume come through a tool that is a helper. And so let's go ahead. I'm going to show a bit of a preview before we get into the some of the questions that we have. Looking at some of these stats, as in the trade room, we look at charts. Is just for me very important to look at some of these stats and just think about what it's helping the ecosystem do now and what it can help the ecosystem do in the future as well. But as a developer, when you develop something, you're like hoping that it works. You're like, okay, maybe people will use it. Yeah, I mean, what is it? How does it feel to create something that a large percentage of the community uses?
Well, I mean, that was the plan, right? So it wasn't like I developed something that wasn't in demand, hoping there would be demand, right? There were other bots already in place. There were even free auto quest bots, which there still are. And I mean, I didn't think that people were going to be so excited about the AI as opposed to those other things, especially something that's free. My goal was just to create something for the DFK team to have, right? I was building something for them as an in-between until the interface caught up with all the features in the game, and the mechanics did as well. And yeah, so I didn't expect it at all to happen that way. But once it did, meaning like now, for example, because there are so many users and such a large percentage of the hero population, what did I say? 24%, right? So we're at 24% of the hero population. So with those numbers, I no longer have to worry about what you're saying. Like, is anyone going to use this? Right? Because basically, I'm only implementing features on request for the most part. So it's like people come to me like, oh man, why do I have to go and clear the quest for this hero so he can hunt? Right? And I'm like, oh yeah, why don't we make that easier? Why don't we make it more automated? Why don't we make it guess what it is you're trying to do? And so yeah, I implement features that are already in demand, that are on request.
Yeah.
And there are just so many people that enough people will use it to make it worthwhile. And the most exciting part for me is doing these strategic thinkings of how to control gas pricing, how to control gas being more expensive than certain quest rewards, right? So I'm here in the background working on the math, of how can I, with 24% of the hero population, influence prices in a positive way so that everyone, including non-AI users, are making a profit and enjoying their game activity. So yeah, that's the fun part.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, if I have anything and if people just use it, I'm like, oh, okay, there's some value there. So we're gonna take a look when it comes to just third-party developments in the ecosystem. We do have Jimmy here. Some mind-blowing stats from one of the hardest working community DFK builders, and that's with DFK Helper. And that's before we had a bunch of these other developments here as well. So, obviously we have third-party developments in the ecosystem. Currently with DFK Helper, obviously it's a tool that's helping the ecosystem. You're in the castle. But what is it like in terms of being one of the third-party developers looking to integrate your way further into the game itself? I mean, even looking at the visages, some of us like streamers are like, oh my gosh, I wish I had a visage. I love this ecosystem so much. I want to be more of a part of it. So, what is it like for you coming in and looking to ingratiate yourself more into the game right now?
I'm not really sure what you're asking. I have so many possible answers. You mind narrowing it down a little bit?
The floor is yours.
Okay. Well, it's tough for me to hear the question because, as you know, I've been trying to get into the team for so long, and everything that I've developed was to make myself, let's say, sexier for the team. Right. So I've been on this over 2 years now, where I've been doing things with the sole purpose of saying, hey, am I good looking enough for you now? Just making myself more enticing to be part of the team. So it was, all this coding, it was the AI, it's the marketing, right? It's the community involvement, it's all this stuff. It's, going to the conferences, it's physically doing stuff at the conference, it's taking on responsibilities. sharing commissions with influencers and others. And so that has always been my goal. And even though you say there are other third-party developers, as far as I know, I'm the only third-party developer that's been full-time on DFK for the past 2 years. And not just third-party. I'm not sure if the team has any full-time developers like this, doing 100 hours a week. I think I'm the only one. So, yeah. Answer the question.
I come from a place where as a community person, I use this tool. It's pretty useful to me. For the last 2 years, without it, I may have not, stayed in the ecosystem. And with me, especially with a couple of my theories with the economic hardening theory, there's market supply, market demand. There's, and there's percentages of the market that any entity that has value demands. And so the stats speak for themselves in terms of the tool. The team is always going to make the decisions about which developer tools they may want to bring on and things of that nature. And so they're making a lot of big decisions, and I hope that they see the value that you're bringing into this ecosystem. And the cool thing that actually I was going to say previously when you were talking about taking in requests is that this is the thing that we love about crypto, right? Different from the AAA gaming, companies and even the banking, we're able to, and this is different also even in the technology era, we're able to, the community that's utilizing this ecosystem is able to develop with the people who are creating.
Right.
This is not normal in even in capitalism. This is not normal. And so you're providing that sort of ability, and so it's only going to continue to get better as a tool for 24% of the community that uses it. And so I loved seeing you in the castle. I love seeing Dreamer acknowledge and shout out that the helper is an integral part of the ecosystem. And I only hope that we continue to merge really this metaverse that is right now niche in the gaming sector of all of crypto, which is already an asset class, an asset ecosystem that is shunned on by, let's say, the rest of the world. And so however we get there, we're going to get there. And DFK Helper is commanding 30, 40, 50% of the users coming in, especially those who come in and want to immediately put liquidity to work. And then the market is going to demand what it wants, right? But I didn't want to not leave it addressed or just not even touch base. I think that the community understands the value, and we just hope that as we move forward, everything that's done is done in the best interest of the community, because this is an ecosystem in a game that's built for us to come in, put some resources in, and just have fun. And so far, it's been a great journey to there. So, want to quickly give a bit of an intro to the giveaway, and then we're gonna hop into some of the community questions. Okay.
So I can't justify the expense of a Gorbo for my own heroes. I am willing to give one away.
Oh, really?
Yeah, willing to go down in price for my own use. It's like, you're always happy to gift someone something,
right?
For yourself, you're like, no, that's too much.
Yeah. I mean, I thought that giving a Gore bow away was just the best thing to do. Because last time we gave away a staff, which was the second most touted, item in the ecosystem at the time. And I'm just over here pulling up the gore bowl in itself,
And
and
since then, the
then
price
looking
doubled
to
with Gorbos in relation to everything else. So they're
in
super
relation to
valuable
everything
now.
else. Yeah, yeah. Let's pull this up here. Okay. So we're gonna select the bow. Ooh, this is my equipment. Ha ha ha. Let's go ahead to let's go ahead. So right now you're talking $44 for a gore bowl right now.
Dying. No
Jeez,
joke.
that's whew. And I think I had the statistics on how many we had out there. Um but I lost it. But obviously, is this entire run with the archer, even with the nerf that's been put on the archer, it's still the best working hero right now.
Right.
So, as somebody who develops and you see some of this traffic coming in, and you even mentioned some of the crystals, right, that are rising in price. Also knowing that it was said in last AMA that the boar hunts, at least the first one, will go away at some point. How are you seeing the equipment and the first launch of different equipment that was launched? And this was about since 3.5, 4 months ago, right?
Yeah, I would say it's flawless. I mean, they thought about it very, very carefully. I've looked at the stats of the different pieces of equipment. There's like really no overlap between the one
Mm-hmm.
hunt and the other. And I think they're just going to continue doing that forever. And I think they can really avoid there ever being an overlap because of the leveling differences, right? So, like,
Yeah.
boars, you're level 10, crocs, you're level 15, I hear is the optimal. And
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, the next one will be 20. It'll need different equipment, and yeah,
Yeah.
but the equipment will always be useful. You'll always have
Yeah.
heroes going into the lower level stuff and the higher level stuff, the stuff in between. So
Yeah.
anyway, I'm ready for
Yeah.
questions or the giveaway. Or I know
Yeah.
we're here for the
Let's
questions, right?
We're here for the questions. We're here for the questions. But it's been such a long time since I spoke to you on stream, that I just want to touch base on some of these things. So a few of these we're gonna hit through kind of rapid fire, because we've spoken about some of these in the past. But we got a round of questions, about 8 to 9 of them. So how did you get into coding?
That crystal price is making me sweat. That's what happened. 40,000. How did I get into coding? So I have never coded before in my life, before DFK. My specialty is contract management for the US military. I have done years of executive management. That's managing every facet of a business, really, middling everywhere. And when I wanted to play DFK, I had this issue. I tried to find anybody that would help me make the experience a little more enjoyable. I could not find anyone. The people that had their own bots at the time, they did not take any advice from anybody. They didn't want any help to collaborate, etc., because I offered all of them. And so basically, I had to learn it myself. And that's it. I mean, basically, there wasn't enough money in the ecosystem for any coder, any Web3 coder to do this full time. And yeah, so it got left to the hobby guy. So I picked it up, and after about 3-4 months, I realized I had a real knack for it.
Yeah. Every time I
That's
hear
it.
it's interesting and genuine.
I
Because
picked it up like a bike.
you just wanted to
Yeah.
figure it out.
I'm as
All right,
surprised as
cool.
everybody
Now,
else.
awesome. So, right into DFK Helper, are there different monthly subscription plans?
Yeah, so there's basically two types of plans. There's the AQ onlys, which are auto questing only, in the sense that they don't have all the features. They just do questing and leveling and simple stuff, maintaining gas simply. And then we have the regular ones. And the regular ones are priced based on, well, both on the number of wallets, number one, which is my main expense, each wallet, and then by the number of heroes, because heroes engender activity, right? More transactions, more processing power, more memory. And yeah, so that's it. And they get cheaper as you go up. And I am always trying to optimize the code and optimize resources to lower the price. So you will see all the time prices are ticking down slightly, insignificantly since the beginning of the project. As you know, my hope was to make this thing free and part of DFK, but whatever. We are where we are.
Yeah, yeah. And that leads us to then the next aspect of things, right? Because if you're picking up a subscription, you want to know how best to utilize whatever platform, its interfaces, things of that nature. A lot of data flowing in. And so this is an interesting question here is what are the most effective strategies for using DFK Helper and the best amount of heroes per wallet with each strategy? Now, when it comes to me, and I still think I could run it more efficiently, I just wanted to be able to have my heroes have their questing just done. But also the biggest thing for me was duels. Duels. And that was enough for me to make that jump. And so what are the most effective strategies for using DFK Helper and the best amount of heroes per wallet with each strategy?
So to answer that, I would say, generally speaking, would be to max out the number of heroes that a chain can handle. That's typically like on Crystalville, for example, that's 78 gardeners, 18 gold miners, and then around, let's say, most optimally, 240 fishers, 250 foragers, right? That's what I would do to consider that wallet like complete. But there are a lot of people that get a lot of wallets and keep them real small in size so that the thing is like more of a lean, mean fighting machine. And one of the reasons they do it is because then they can concentrate on having more quests of the ones that are limited by the game. You know, like for example, 18 gold miners. Those 18 gold miners aren't going to get all the gold you need. You need a lot more. So you move on to separate wallets, you know, not too many, hopefully, but you know, just enough. 3 is a typical number. And the same with the gardeners, right? You're limited to how many gardeners you're going to have, which is based on the number of pools. It got decreased by the Serendale thing. So yeah, that's what I'd say. But everyone's strategy is different, right? There's a lot of people that have never done a duel with the AI. There's a lot of people that have never done, believe this or not, a quest with the AI. They use it only for like arbitration and swapping and limit license cells and stuff like that. There are people that have wallets that are only for dueling and nothing else. I mean, you got everything. That's what I'm saying. You got the guy that's got 300 auto summons going on in there and sending them to different wallets automatically so they can go in the pits. And it's like everybody has their own idea. If you talk to Worm, Sir Worm, you know, he'll tell you one thing, and Sticks Internet will tell you another. He's all about the hunts. And everybody's got their thing. So even though there are a few jacks of all trades, I'd say the majority of the players, like they have this one thing that they focus on. And then the thing that gives them the most frustration, they give it to the AI. And they're like, AI, you take care of that. So another example, a simple one, is some people love to level their heroes manually, right? That's not what the AI was built for. It allows it, but it's not what it was built. But some people just enjoy it so much that they'll have the AI do everything except level the heroes. It's a rare thing, but just to show you that people have different ways in which they want to play the game, and the AI allows them to do that, to play the game how they want.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, a part of my strategy is to, even while some are leaving Serendale 2.0, is to sit in Serendale 2.0 and allow the AI to take its time and pick and choose when to do the quest, because I'm a big Swift Twistle believer, and even the bloater, right? And to me, as long as I can still execute, level up my heroes, gain some experience, and collect those items, that's a part of my macro strategy that it makes sense to have the AI execute it that way for me, right? So um, that's a good one there. We are going to tap into a chat room question because we're this AMA came. Some of the questions came from Twitter, but also too from the chat room as well. And we
And
have
we will
Sticks
do all
intern.
questions. How about that? We do all
Yes,
questions.
yes,
Let's teach people how to do an AMA. You answer every question completely.
including questions from the chat. So
Sure.
the Sticks intern says, "What is Zealous skincare routine? Is it published anywhere I can that I can reference it? Thanks."
Yeah, so I'm in my 40s, which he knows. So he's right to say it. I think it's just the Southern Italian genes, drinking lots of water, and trying to laugh, right? Trying to have a sense of humor about really everything. Don't let it get you down.
Don't let it get you down.
Living for something other than yourself,
Mm,
like the community.
like the community. All right, awesome. So we have another question here. All right. Uh Zealous, is it possible to bot hunts? What's the reason the archer skills were altered to prevent such ability to bot?
So it's definitely possible to bot hunt, not in the way that the AI normally does things, because the hunts don't actually take place on the blockchain. On the blockchain, you just start and end the hunt, but it has to be played through the Firebase uh, database. That's part of the game, which means you have to play it in the game. A bot would then use, recognize things on the screen and use a variety of logic to like auto click for you, basically, or to send commands and execute certain abilities and stuff like that. And it would have a full reading of the health and mana and all these things to be able to make proper decisions. Most people wouldn't have the time to make something like this. It's just not profitable enough. If they did, it would be really, really dumb, which means they would get like a 98% loss ratio, right? They lose almost every time. Is it possible to make it really good? Yes, it is. Will I do it? No way. The DFK team has asked that no one bot hunts, and I believe that that's the way it should be. Like, there's aspects of the game that are fun on their own, and botting shouldn't enter the picture. It should only enter insofar as what Helper normally does, which is help. So, like in this case, where we auto buy the potions, we make sure the stamina is good, right? Like, you got enough gold, you got enough crystal, all those things. Auto start all those hunts for you, but you play them yourself. As far as the archer skills being altered, no, I don't think it has anything to do with the bot. I really don't think anyone has botted any part of it, even though there are people insinuating that that's happened. Every time someone said it, I said, show me proof, and there has been none, zero. If they did, again, the loss ratio would be off the charts. But no, the archer skills have been a thorn in the dev side for a long time. Ever since weeks ago, people like Nick's intern defeated all the boars in like 15 seconds with 3 archers, right? The devs never imagined someone doing this, right? Finesse stoning all these archers, mythics going in fully equipped and destroying everything. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's why they nerfed it, because of you, Sticks intern. And wow, mythic squad.
And speaking of Sticks intern, he says he levels his heroes manually, but I do too as well, especially the ones that I have an affinity for. But we have Kupo also tapping in here and says I also level mine manually. It's so meticulous about heroes' individual levels. Sometimes they change, sometimes they are the same. Yet, regardless, I prefer to do them myself. And we have more of that, where Beef says, I level my dope heroes manually, but the rest Zelys takes care of, aka the DFK Helper AI. So yeah, definitely definitely want to keep an eye out on that. So there was one particular one here which was interesting. Can it be used on holiday wallets? Can I use it to enter specific raffles I want to enter?
So holiday wallets, the last bit of info we got, direction we got from the DFK team about it that's still standing is it's beta, right? It's a beta product. Don't migrate to it unless you really need to, right? And are willing to deal with issues. Why? Because you can't do so many things that you see people talking about, like particularly like the jeweler, right? Power ups and stuff like that. But there's more. The issue is the holiday wallets. They don't have the ability to extract the private key, right? So if you lose your, no, I don't want to say that. Basically, it's not your wallet, right? It's not your wallet because you don't have its key. No one does in this particular case, not even Holiday. But yeah, it's a keyless wallet. Now the plan has always been for them to develop that, and they've been working on it since the very beginning. Soon it will be possible. When that's possible, that is to extract the private key from a Holiday wallet so that you can then import it into any wallet you want and use it like a regular wallet, then most of these restrictions will cease to exist. And yes, the AI will be able to integrate with it. I have also discussed with Holiday integrating without the use of a private key. So using their system the way it is, right? The same way that you do it in the DFK interface. And that's also in the works. They're working on it.
Okay, that's bullish. That's good to know.
Oh, raffles.
I'm sorry?
Specific raffles. Sorry, I was saying the question had a second part to it.
Yes, the raffles. Can I use it to enter specific raffles I want to enter?
Right. So in the beginning, the AI would enter, you just enable it and it would enter all the raffles. Since then, there are targeting features that every player can use to target specific items, to avoid certain items, to target or avoid certain size of raffles, to control how many tickets, to put a multiplier when it's a targeted item. So for example, I have set it to 4 tickets, and then I have a multiplier of 100 for targeted items. And a moksha room comes up, I put 400 tickets, I win it every time. So that's it. Yes.
Yeah.
You can target anything and untarget.
Yeah, the best combination of targeting is going from duels, executing there, leveling yourself up so you can get the rewards, and then executing the raffles you get from it in an efficient way. And that 1-2 combo, especially when duels is live, is a lot of the ways that individuals are able to find more resources in order to do the things that they're looking to do. So
you have to play the whole game in order to be able to play the whole game. That's the issue. Like if you just need the stuff that's in the raffles, you'd have to be in that screen all day, every day without closing it, right? Because every 15 minutes there's a new raffle and you're in there punching in an entry. You wouldn't be hunting, you wouldn't be dueling, you wouldn't be doing anything else. But the reality is you need to do everything. So the things that are routine tasks, AI, and then you do what you want to do.
Awesome. We have another question. How does Zelys keep his composure when dealing with the varied wants, needs of his community? Truly an impressive display every day.
So I started working. My first job was in sales. So customer service became the most important thing. And this goes along with things that Grady, for example, talks about, which is that if you take care of everyone else, they'll take care of you, kind of thing. You look out for their best interest. So it starts with a customer. It could be a family member, it could be a friend, right? But it starts with a customer. So that's what I've learned, that over time, I might have a player that asks me a question that I'm like, oh my God, why are you being so mean to me, right? This is a horrible thing to say. Why do you think this way? And a couple of weeks later, they will be the ones to give me the most compassion and kindness. Maybe they ask the dumbest question anyone's ever asked. And then a couple of weeks later, they give me the best idea for an AI feature that anyone's ever given me. So it's this thing where you really can't label or judge. You don't know what's coming. You don't know who anybody is. So yeah, treat everybody equally with respect, how you would want to be treated, and it works out both ways, right? We help each other out at the end of the day. So that's how I see it. Like everybody's committed to the project and to the community. If they're not committed, they're not in DFKH, right? So they're not. I don't have to deal with them at all. But if they're there, we have the same mission, the same goal. Yeah, even if they have some beef. Yeah, but I mean, everyone's generally super kind, right? I mean, like all my support, 99% of my support takes place right there in the support chat, right? That's pretty much public to all AI users. And has anyone ever presented like a serious issue or an issue that couldn't be solved right away? No. So it's pretty chill. I mean, I would say just the DFK community in itself, right, already is like the best of humanity, I would say. And those using the AI are like even the most committed ones amongst that group, and everybody's, I don't know, yeah, smart, kind, generous. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's in the DFK community. I don't know about the Discord. Discord is it's its own. It's become its own like Magneto, right? It's
Right.
been more metamorphed itself into its own being, its own other planet that we sometimes travel to. But the DFK community itself is very helpful and all about that building process and looking out for each other. So moving on to the next question. DFK Helper has been great. Are there any new features that we can look forward to? And as you answer that, I am going to pan over to the recent update that you've had up. But yes, are there any new features we can look forward to?
Yeah. So the interesting thing about this question, and I've gotten this question several times, is that my answer is no, because everything that I've wanted to implement, I implemented already because I implemented on the spot, right? So what happens is somebody contacts me in the morning and says, hey, this would be good to have. And I'll think about it and be like, yeah, it would be good to have. I'm not going to eat, sleep, go to the bathroom until it's done. And that's generally what happens is I'll just hammer it, get it done, boom, it's out. And then I have nothing else pending. That's how I like to keep it. Like that's why I don't have milestones in that sense, because I execute them immediately. If it's on the milestone, it needs to get knocked out right now. But yeah, every day or so, I'm releasing new features, right? So this was yesterday. There was something the day before. There was something the day before that, or at least half a dozen major things in the last month alone. So yeah, there's always new features. Just waiting for the community to say, hey, we need this, or please do this. But as you've seen, I move really quickly. I'm quite agile. So for example, when the potions requirement came out, I had it implemented the next day. Right? I did it overnight. So even though I was on vacation, by the way.
Oh,
because I hadn't been told when it was going to happen, right? I'm in the dark about everything as like everyone else is.
Did it while you're on vacation?
I was skiing in Switzerland.
Oh yeah, I did. I saw some clips from there. How was that?
It was awesome.
The views looked amazing.
Oh yeah, the Alps. I've been there several times. It's a family thing, but yeah, I mean, super tired after a day of ski. It's like you're dead.
Yeah,
but I still found the energy to make the community happy, to try to.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's awesome. I know how tiring. I tried snowboarding a few times, and as an athlete, I like figuring things out, but it's just the balance is not there for me.
You spend a lot of time on the ground.
On the ground, and the aching for an entire week after. I mean, whoa.
Ski is better. Ski's better.
Ski. I might have to try ski the next time I make that journey, if I ever.
I'll teach you, man. We'll do it in Denver with Dreamer.
Yeah. That'd be awesome.
I learned in my 30s, by the way.
I'm sorry?
I learned skiing in my 30s.
You learned in your 30s? Okay.
Yeah,
so
anybody can do it.
I still got time. I still got time. All right, cool. So it looks like we got some more people in the live with us. We got two noobs in the building. And shout out to two noobs and the donate tool. As you guys can see, my pinned comment there is the donate link. They continue to communicate with different streamers and continue to figure out how they can be a focal part of this community. And giving the ability for streamers to get donations is pretty cool. So they're going to continue to find ways to get better integration so you can see those donations pop up. But shout out to him as well. Sticks is still in the building. And just a lot of chattering going on. What? Like and subscribe. All right, awesome. So we're down to one of our last questions. And thereafter this question, we're gonna do another preview for this amazing Gorbo that we're gonna give out. But I have an agenda of my own for one of my DFK Helper accounts, and I want to look at the spreadsheet and prepare for Duel's season that's coming out. And so give you a bit of my thought frame, and then you kind of say, hey, this may be a way you might want to go and execute it. But let's go ahead and ask the next question. That's the second part of this segment that we're going to lead into. But as the last question, does DFK support multiple wallets?
Yes. So originally my thinking was people should only be allowed to have one wallet. And because I essentially KYC everybody by nature of the payment system, that I can kind of, control that to make sure it happens. But when I questioned the DFK team on it years ago, they said, no, people do it anyway. It doesn't matter. More wallets is fine. And so I came up with a number in my head, like, okay, not more than 10 or 15 or something, not some crazy number. Because I heard people and other bots had like 200 wallets, right? Gold mining or whatever. I'm like, that's not right. But yeah, it supports multiple wallets. Most people have 3. Actually, no, most people have 2. A good number have 3. And there's a small number of guys with like 10 and I think even 15. Those are like the big streamers here. Like you've had Sir Worm, for example, and Zan and his legion.
Yeah, there's some people with some big legions out here.
You gotta keep those heroes fed. They're pets fed. It's big work.
Yeah, it's big work. It's big work, and they wouldn't be able to function at the clip that they do without a tool to help them do it. So that is the last question that we have here. Any other questions can be dropped on in the chat room as well. And let me see.
Oh yeah, and by the way, sometimes people will have like their violin wallet, their dueling wallet, their summoning wallet, their reject hero wallet, the heroes for sale wallet. People do this, as Dag said, for organizational purposes.
Yes.
So then they can set up the AI to send stuff between the wallets automatically, like auto send all the tiers to that wallet for my summoning and stuff like that.
Well, this is the thing, right? And this is why blockchain and crypto is what it is. It's the gamification in a way where even command your legion, claim your legacy. When you take that to the blockchain realm, okay, well, what does my legion look like? My legion might look like 7 wallets. You know what I'm saying? And then I have the ability to transact and to distribute my command across different nations, right? You might call your wallets nations, right?
And chains.
Right, and chains, right? And so this is literally that ethos put into the aspect of not only the lore of the game, but the ability and control of the player, which is not something we've seen in gaming before, right? So,
right, like before they came up with that term, Legion, before Dreamer, mentioned that, the general consensus was like, people shouldn't have or need more than like 30, 40 heroes, a small manageable number. That's what everybody should have. Hence the limits on the gold miners and the gardeners and whatnot. which there were less gardens before, so there's a lot less. But yeah, that changed when he said Legion. When he said Legion, I was like, oh my God, yes! That's what we've been talking about. The AI users, you know, we are Legion.
We are Legion, right?
Love that word.
All right,
It's
awesome.
spot
So
on.
it is spot on. That's why when they finally dropped that as the slogan, I said, oh, okay, this is great. This is great because you can correlate that to many aspects, whether it's an economic end and a gaming end,
Multiverse.
and be able to push it forward, right? And right, whereas like people are saying, oh, this should be a limited ecosystem, limited accounts, limited this. But hold on, if this game is about world building, I want to build through many blockchains, many accounts. I want to be Napoleon, right? I want to send my army,
I want to do it all.
and take over. So I want to be able to do that I want to do it all on the technology end as
I'm gonna
well.
take over like 20
So
pieces of land.
we're yes. So let me I think I don't know if I'm sharing. Oh, I am not sharing. We're gonna add this to the stage. Just bear with me 1 second while I refresh this page here. So I'm refreshing the DFK page here, just to look at one of the DFK Helper accounts that I have. But I'm screening to the spreadsheet here while I refresh. But my goal for the next, let's say, 6 months or so, because we're about to get Duel Season 7 released, and one of the integral changes, and especially why it may be taking so long, is that we're going to have duels open and available with no stops. It can go through entire cycles,
last
annual
season, huh?
cycles. And so, right, the last season. The last season. That's crazy, right? So, with that being said, I want to make sure that my helper is set and prepared. And I've been utilizing the spreadsheet. I'm not the greatest with spreadsheets. And so if I'm a user, I've come in, I've thrown some heroes in. I have specific agendas with particular heroes. How can I execute on this? I'm going to go in a little bit further before I share I'm not even sharing the spreadsheet yet. What's going on here? I'm going to add to stage. There we go. Okay, so my agenda, and I'm going to show you the wallet before we look at anything else. I'm going to filter this wallet out here. I have a few mythics. All right. And so we're getting ready for Duel Season 7. What I've been wanting to do, one, with this archer here, is to stampot it and to have it also auto level. And you'll see what I mean when I'm looking at the spreadsheet. And while I was at it, I said, hey, I have this paladin. That's one of my first mythics. Paladin's one of my favorite heroes. I want the ability to also possibly stampot him as well. And so I executed on going in and buying the stampots, or not even buying them. I already had the resources available, and I've been storing stampots for a while. So it was about 300 of them. And I wanted to push it out for it to just level these two mythics up while also preparing for the duels coming out. And so I thought I executed on it. I threw it in there, and it seemed like it was working. It seemed like it wasn't working. But I want to take a look at my spreadsheet to see what's the best way to set something like that up if I'm utilizing the sheet.
So the first thing I see
cool.
when I open a sheet, like in your case, is that you're missing 1 gold miner for Crystal Vale. So you got 17?
Yes.
There's no reason for that. That's bad. It's very bad. Shame. Cha-ching, shame.
Yeah, I think I think I did that recently because I moved some heroes out of this wallet about a month ago. But yes. So I need to
Sorry,
get my one miner in there to level it out.
I diverged. You should also max out those gardeners. 78. But yeah, let's go to your question. Okay, so this is one of them, 592.
Yes. Let me see. I have the mythic archer.
So you see how you can see where I am on the sheet?
Yes.
Little pink box.
Let me take a look at what are you referring to?
If you go back up to the first one, the first vialer, you'll see right there. See on the left how it's pink?
Oh, yes.
That's because that's me. If you mouse over it, it'll say my name.
Gotcha.
Isn't that cool?
Gotcha.
So yeah, so I have access to everybody's sheet like I do to yours, which makes it really easy. I often do most edits on my phone, believe it or not, for people. And I also patrol stuff. I patrol wallets. So like, oh, this guy's running out of gas, or this guy's got a really messed up configuration, and I'll contact folks. Anyway, you have a should auto level of true here. And something to keep in mind, if you read the little notice up here, is that, like if you mouse over should auto level, you'll see it says that true ignores everything, every kind of stop. So for example, you have a stop at 12, that hero will never stop.
I see.
If you truly want him to stop at 12, you probably want to do this one, war not stop. War not stop means when you get to it, warn me. So basically when he gets to the end of level 12 and is ready to go to 13, remember, stop at 12, then he will tell you, I am ready to level to 13. If you used stop at stop, which is the setting right below that one, then once he reached that level, he would just not level anymore and never tell you anything about it. So like most people will set a stop at stop of 10, right? Heroes get to 10 and then they don't bother you anymore.
Gotcha.
In this case, you have it set to use a lesser might crystal. You have stem inject enabled. But I see that you have an empty inject max level, even though you have a stop at level 12. So keep in mind that if you don't have a max level, then that hero will vial up forever, right? In this case, we're now with the war not stop. He would use the vial not until he gets to 12, but actually until he gets to almost 13, right? Because what will happen is he'll keep vialing as he's at 12, and then he'll say, I'm ready to get to 13. But if you want him to stop at 12, then you want to stay at 12. So this means when the hero gets to 12, he will never vial anymore.
Gotcha.
This one says that when he gets to 12, he will not auto level anymore.
Okay. That's interesting. So not only do I have to execute the start of the auto leveling, there's a setting to also make sure that I cap it at the proper level as well.
Right. If you want to cap it. Most people cap it just by limiting the number of potions accessible. You know, they feed 100 at a time. But no, this is the most effective way is really to, if you're stem vialing, is just to do it here. You don't even need to worry about the vialing, right? Because you don't care about him stopping vialing, for example. Maybe you want him to level up forever. But vialing, you want it to stop at 12. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. That's awesome.
You want to set this to true and you would delete the level, for example, like this. And then that's what would happen. He would vial up to 12 and then he just keep leveling normally after that.
Gotcha.
Okay, so that's that. Hero reaches that level, he's going to notify you and say, hey, disable vialing if you're finished with me, or edit your settings. Right, if you want to keep going. You have it set to use Dex, Strength, Vitality. So this one's fine. I'm scrolling down now to your other 2 vialers you said you had?
Yes.
Okay, wait. there was an auto sell that we went by.
Right
So
here.
I don't know if you know this, but you have the capability to add, stuff in these 3 columns, the pink ones. So for example, if you just put a date into this block, like say today's date, then what would happen is tomorrow the price would go down by 1%. The next day another percent, the next day another percent, for a maximum of 33% discount over this price. Just FYI. So it's like if you ever want to at least set it and forget it kind of price, you can set a price higher than what you actually plan to sell it for, put a date on it, and then it'll go down a third eventually. And potentially it'll go down in price as it's going up in level and becoming more valuable and therefore more likely to sell if it was auto leveling, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
So let's go back down to the other 2. Okay, so I see the same situation. You might want to have them at 1 at stop 10. Just true with no level. Again, repeat. When there's a auto level true, everything else gets ignored. Like this stop at level, it's ignored. The reason for this logic is that people would set it like this, like you would be at 1 at stop 10. And then when this is done, you're done violating whatever, you want to set him to true and ignore the stop. Right? You want it to go back to normal, but maybe you want to leave this here like as a note to yourself that you had stopped him at 10 or something, for the next time. So that's the reason why it's coded to ignore. Anyways, so that's good. We're going to put a level 10 here, like you did there, and a level 5 here. Assuming that's what you want. Is that what you want?
Yeah,
like,
no,
for example, you want this hero to not go above level 5, period?
Exactly.
Okay. So just to 5, not to 5 temporarily so you can keep violating him, but like 5 permanently.
Yeah, 5 permanently.
Okay, yeah. So that's what you would do.
Gotcha.
That will do it.
Yeah, because at that point I want to then review where it's at to decide then if I need to adjust the specific stats that I have lined up.
Now I'll tell you the problem. The problem is that you've assigned the mining quest to these 2 violers. And that's a problem because mining is a very long duration quest, right? With very long queues. So you're right now, so the way they used to work is the AI would tell you, nope, I'm not going to violate no miners. That's the way it worked. And then I was like, no, let me make it less restricted. So then it was like, no, I won't do it because there's too many miners. Like there's more than the 3 or whatever. If it was just me, I would do it. And now the system has changed to the point that the AI will treat mining and gardening very differently than fishing and foraging. So the way fishing and foraging works is the AI is continually like focused on those violating heroes, like constantly, right? It's watching their stamina like a hawk. It's watching their quest status like a hawk, and it's leveling them as fast as it can. Since that's not possible with miners and gardeners, what happens when you're violating them, again, totally different, is just that when they're done with their quest, they'll consume a vial. That's it. That's all the vialing is, right? The AI is not watching those heroes to vial them as fast as possible because all they need to do is drink a vial, right? And rejoin their group. So that's what will happen here. So that's why this vialing would be super slow. Super, super slow. Plus the fact that this will push other heroes, other miners, out of rotation,
right?
Potentially even them. So like other heroes that are ready to quest, when a group is ready, they will go and quest without this violating hero, potentially, because they're at full stamina or whatever. Right. So yeah, mining. Viler mining isn't a great idea. The other reason it's not a great idea is because of skill 10 quests, right? There's no mining skill 10 quests. So you're basically paying double for your stamina vials.
Yeah, that's true. That is absolutely true. So that's interesting when you're looking at different professions. So it would mean that the lower time frame professions, the foragers and the fishers, violin is something that would be efficient for them over the miners.
Yes. The thing that people generally do with miners and gardeners, and mostly miners, is they either equip it with an innate pet that switches them to fishing or foraging, so they can do the level 10 quests, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or to level up a lot faster for less files, or to do the training quests. Right? Training quests don't bring us much experience as still 10 quests, but they bring a lot more than skill 0.
Right.
And even though they're very unprofitable to do, it's the most efficient thing without an innate pet to level your hero. So again, generally, most people will switch. Like in your case, they would do this. They would grab this guy and they would say, okay, I'll put him on a training quest. Boom.
Gotcha.
Like that.
Gotcha.
You don't have to do that, but
No,
it would be more efficient.
It's interesting to see what others, may be doing. I was collecting gold, which I know I'm gonna need for different resources and just to accumulate gold in general. But you're right, you're sacrificing that for the amount of experience you could build if you make an adjustment like that. And so if you have PvP type heroes that you're not really worried about in doing profession quests, you may want to plug them into a mechanism that they can gain more experience from. So that's a good one to consider.
Yeah, you should consider doing TQs for violers instead of mining.
Gotcha.
If not
Makes
an
sense.
innate pet.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I'll shift through these because there was a few more heroes that I was looking to make these sort of.
But keep in mind, it's a temporary growing pain, right? In a couple of months, we will have mining 10 quests, and this will be a moot point.
Yeah.
But there's still the issue that mining and gardening take like 8-9 hours. So.
Yeah. But it's just interesting to see how you look at implementing a spreadsheet when you first put your eyes on it based upon what the user is trying to do. And it definitely brings some clarification. So in doing this, I then am looking at Duel season 7 that's coming out. And looking at when it comes to the setup for it, what are the things that players should be considering when looking to utilize the Duel's spreadsheet?
So the first thing I see is that your duel tab is broken because it has a 0 here in the top left. You see it?
Yes.
That's supposed to be realm. That's a common issue. What happens is that whenever you switch tabs, the Google Sheets puts your cursor at A1. And so if you press anything on the keyboard, like a 0,
right,
it'll overwrite it and basically kill duels. But anyway, easy fix. So right now you have, I'm not sure why you've done this. So you understand the difference between the 3 groups? The ones at the top, the ones in the middle, and the ones at the bottom?
I do not.
Okay. So the ones at the first ones, the first 3, they're like in a light bluish color. They are what I call the static duels. This was when the AI was first written to deal with duels. And by the way, I did it like 2 days on the first release of duels. This was the way that you did it. You would put in your hero IDs manually. Like for example, here you have a hero ID. You would put your background manually. You would put your stat. You put your wager. Basically, is exactly like if you were doing it in the game, where you select everything yourself, right?
Right.
If you enable this now and duels was a thing, you'd start seeing errors in your log that you don't own this hero. 1111111. Right? And enabling this one, same with this. You don't own these heroes too, because remember, these first 3 are for you to enter everything manually.
Right.
Like a non-AI. You're like, who the heck would want that? There's a lot of people, I call them the control freaks, right? But they're like, no, I want these 3 heroes only, and I want them to only do that stat, that kind of thing.
Right.
So that's what that's for. I mean, if you have some amazing heroes, right, that's what you do. Like the best of the best, your group of 3 Dread Knights, and yeah, go for it. But that's not what you want. So next, I had developed the orange category here, which I call the pool. You can see it has pool in the name. And the difference between these two is that in pool, you no longer select a stat or a background. It does it automatically based on the majority of the heroes that enter the pool for that duel. But what it does give you is the ability to enter more hero IDs. So for example, here we have a solo, and you could enter 9 different hero IDs. What the AI would then do is rotate through them randomly, okay, through this pool. The useful thing about the pool is if you want to limit the heroes that the AI can use for your dueling, like you're like, I only want these 20 heroes to duel. So you would enter those. And the helpful thing that the AI does for you is that it will then match those heroes against class bonuses, right? The class bonuses are changing every couple hours. And yeah, you wouldn't be sending heroes that are not on their class bonus, potentially. I say potentially, we'll cover that in a sec. And then, but I'm going to disable these two because I see that you didn't have any set heroes that you wanted to duel.
Right.
I'm disabling it. And then finally, we have the pink section, which is the one I recommend everyone use. It's what I use myself. The pink section says AI, fully automated. You don't select anything. The AI auto selects the heroes, the backgrounds, the stats, when to send them, etc. Which now leads us to the only the only settings that are available to you. If you go here to the right, it starts with delay hours. Do you understand this one?
The delay hours one? No, break it down.
So delay hours, for example, in the case of this one, you have a solo pool AI, and he's by default set to every 12 hours. That means that the AI will only do a solo, not just that solo, but any solo every 12 hours. So when it comes across this, it will, it's done one in the last 12 hours, a solo, it will say, no, I'm not sending, I'm not executing this one. Now you're thinking, what's the difference between this one and the next one, right?
Right.
Look the same. They're all the same pretty much before that. The difference between them is, so this is a cool thing that you can do is duplicate, and you can actually add as many as you want. You could add more rows, copy, paste, add all the detail you want. But here we have 2. We have our target duel, in this case is this one. The reason I say it's our target duel is, see how it says 0.5 hours?
Yeah.
That means that you want this duel to go out every half hour. Which is pretty fast. It can go faster, right? 0.01 is the lowest number you could stick in there. Yeah, it would just go over and over and over and over until reaching the daily limit, of course. But then you have more settings, top X heroes. So this says how many of your top heroes will it use for the rotation? Because it's essentially building a pool for you like this, but without you having to do it manually, right? So if you say use our top 5 heroes, solo rotation. The next setting is duel on class bonus only. So you'll notice this is the first big difference between these two solos that we have enabled.
Right.
This one has nothing. It has all. What does that mean? That means that in our main one, what we're trying to do is that whenever all the heroes meet a class bonus, we want that duel to go every half hour. But the reality is that your top 5 heroes, in this case, they may only be viable for dueling 2-3 hours a day when the class bonuses hit just right for your heroes, right?
Okay.
So what will happen is maybe the whole day will go by and you won't have any duels, and you'll be like, is the AI broken? What's going on? And no, it's because you set it to all, and it doesn't meet the requirement. Your heroes, right, don't meet that requirement. So the reason we have this enabled with a really slow duration of twice a day, it's because this is like your dumb duel. This is your duel with no restrictions. Here it's set to grab your top 2 heroes, ignore all class bonus restrictions, and send them out twice a day. So when you check your log, you'll see that duels is working.
Right.
And that lets you know that, hey, it's working, and B, if there's an issue with my other duel that I'm trying to send, it's because there's something wrong with my settings. I don't have enough good heroes, the top X isn't big enough, the duel on class bonus is too restrictive. Generally, there are no issues with the setup, with the full AI setup. if you have enough heroes of all classes that you always have, dual class bonuses with very high stats. But yeah, otherwise with fewer heroes, you'll face some difficulties. So this next checkbox just increases the level of restrictions where the AI won't send the heroes on the duel unless also the subclasses match the bonus. Because you get a little bonus for the main class and you get another bonus for the subclass.
The subclass, yeah.
If they match. And if both match, that's a lot more points. So this makes it so that both. So you enable that, and the chances this duel is going to happen is like slim to none, right?
Okay.
But that's what I like to do. And when it happens, it's going to machine gun, either in your case like this or 0.01, which is more like what I do. So that's what I do. I'm like, okay, go twice a day or more. But then when my stuff hits, when it's like perfect for my heroes, machine gun it for reaching the daily limit, which is only 10, right? For solo. Anyway, so that's that.
That's interesting.
Require pet simply requires that the heroes have a pet, because you get an extra point depending on the rarity. Maybe in the next duels, they'll use the combat bonuses instead of just the rarity. But for now, it's just the rarity. So the AI gives like extra points for this in selecting the heroes. Then we have require equipment. So if you click that, so it opens a drop down.
Interesting.
Clicking it. Yeah. So the choices are false any duel. So false, blank, any, and duel. Any means require all the heroes that go on this duel to have some equipment.
Okay.
Doesn't that give you a little bonus? Oh, no. So people what they were doing, and they were like, you know what? I want to control which heroes go on a duel by marking my best heroes with equipment, right? So if I equip a hero with equipment, he's a hero I want in the duel. You got it? Like the same as the hunts.
Right,
so by selecting any, the AI would filter out any heroes without equipment and not duel them. And then finally, the requirement for duel is there, that last option. That's there because there is equipment that's specifically just for duels, like the champion medal.
Right.
So in such a case, you select duel, and maybe you have heroes that have those medals or whatever, and only those will go.
Gotcha.
So they're more likely to win. And finally, there's the auto recharge, which when selected, and I'm not sure if anyone's ever used it, but it should recharge the hero when he reaches his daily limit. But it's expensive. That's why I don't think most people use it. Yeah. Oh, and then finally, rank max. So for example, you look at the rewards at the beginning of the season, and you might be like, you know what? I want to get these rewards, like on level 5 on the legendary. So you might do like, for example, 450. 450, 450, right? You would do this. And then what would happen is that the AI would duel until it got you to that rank, thus being able to claim those rewards and no further. So you're not wasting anything, or you're not going down in rank either.
Right.
That's it. So in your case, I would just enable this and you're done. Right? All I did was enable, left all the default. So this one will go every half hour when conditions are ripe. This one will go every 3 hours when conditions are ripe. And this one will go every 4 hours.
When conditions are right. Right.
Top 12 heroes. There's one other thing that controls duels that's not in this tab. If you go to the ADV tab.
The advanced tab, yeah.
And you scroll down to about the middle. Yeah, right there. So see at the bottom where it says duel entries?
Yes.
So this controls how many duels you enter at one time. The lowest number is 1. Highest number is 10. The default is set at 3. That means enter 3 duels at one time. Why do you want to use this? Because this makes it cheaper to duel. Right? Each duel costs gas, and the more entries, the cheaper it is slightly than doing them individually. Right? So instead of doing 3 duels, you do 1 of 3. But the reason that I set it at 3 and not at a number like 10 is because we have observed over time that the higher the duel entries entered at one time, the more likely you'll get matched with the same player, with the same hero, and potentially the same loss.
Gotcha.
So the win ratio seems to be a bit higher, like let's say 7 and under. But yeah, also it depends on how much money you want to burn, right?
How much you want to burn through.
So that's
But
number one. And the second part is this one.
Yeah.
Dual interval hours. So this is like everything in this tab. This is a master switch.
Okay.
It's a master switch for your timing of duels. So before even looking at the duels tab, the AI will look here and it will say, has this time elapsed since last time I checked duels? If it hasn't elapsed, then it'll stay quiet. Once it's elapsed, then it will go to the duels tab and check those delay timings that you have there. So for example, if I set this to say 24 hours like that, then what would happen is you would never duel more than once a day. Because this is the master switch.
Right.
And the opposite of this is I put this to 0.01, the lower, the minimum value. Then what will happen is every 6 minutes or whatever, it's going to, or every minute, it's going to keep checking the duels tab.
Queue one. Yeah.
But it will be looking at the delays there, so it doesn't mean anything.
Okay.
You got it? Because if the delays are 12 hours or 3 hours or half an hour, it's still not going to do it every 6 minutes or every minute.
But it's ready to pull the trigger.
Right. So basically, you want to have this at a number that's half of your lowest interval. Your lowest right now is half an hour. So I'll just leave it at the default of 0.2. But just remember that you can raise this. If you're ever in a rush to do 1 million duels in a short time, you would do this. We'd go 0.01, 10.
Like it's the end of the season. I got to squeeze,
For CV, you would do this.
Gotcha.
But by the way, that doesn't work anymore. Waiting till the end of the season.
Yeah, it doesn't work anymore. It definitely
get creamed. Yeah, Frisky made it so you get creamed if you wait till the end.
Yeah.
That's something else Tix Intern popularized.
Oh yeah?
I think it was him.
No, I think it was Brown Gent that popularized.
Oh no, you're right. It was the Brown Gent. He's like, yeah, man, I just wait till the end of the season and then I do all my duels then. And Frisky was like, oh yeah, wait till next season.
Oh yeah.
And he did it.
That didn't work out so well.
Doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, this is super cool. I feel like, taming duels has been one of the biggest things, especially someone who's been in this ecosystem for a while. And to see that it's going to come where it's going to be sustainable, where it stays in the ecosystem. Oh, I needed to really find a way to get this tool that I have to work in a better fashion for me. And even in this short bit of time, I have that clarity. I'm eager. Bitcoin is down 6%. Do I care? No, because now I know a part of the strategy that I want to put forward and how I'm going to be able to execute on it with my tool, which is the DFK Helper AI. And I have an ability to adjust and mend and allow the machine learning to fit me and exactly what I'm looking to do. And it can run for 60 to 90 days, or it can run for the next 5 years as this ecosystem continues to expand. So definitely appreciate that. So, this is a bit of what DFK Helper is about. I know there's also the website. What can you tell us about the website and what's to come with that as well?
Sure. You mind going to the website?
Yeah. Let me just pull it up.
DFKHelper.com.
Getting that ready for you. Okay. We are here.
Right. So pretty simple. If you click on like the little hero icon on the left.
Oh, the hero icon here?
Yes. Oh, you're not connected to your wallet?
Let me go ahead.
If you were. You don't need to. Your choice. You can also type in an OX in there at the top.
Oh, nice. Let me go that route.
Spy on somebody else.
I'm gonna spy on myself. Let's see.
Oops. Do a F5 refresh.
Yeah. Nice.
There you go. So yeah, so it lists all your heroes, all the data, all their genes, everything is sortable. If you go to the columns and filters over here, you can control everything that shows or doesn't show. You can scroll sideways by holding the middle mouse button. So if you get out of that box and you click and you hold the middle mouse button, see it? You can scroll left and right.
Nice.
Got everything on here. So yeah, that allows you to look at any wallet and everything that's in it, sorted just like you like. There's a button to export if you want to track the data somewhere else or continue filtering and sorting it somewhere else. You can use that to paste it onto your DFK sheet if that's what you want to do. Like you would put the realm next to the ID and just paste that thing, the professions. You can see if the hero's been stoned, right? You can see all kinds of stuff. There will be more data here in the future. If you click above the little hero icon on the left, oh, wait, before we go there, do you see how at the top of this you have browse, quest, combat, duel, summon, bridge, and transfer?
Where am I seeing this?
At the very top, gray area. You're selecting browse right now. White. At the very top. See where it says heroes? Top.
Over here? How far up am I going?
At the very top. You see where it says heroes?
Let me make sure I'm sharing this correctly.
There you go.
Browse. Oh,
yes.
over here?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
gotcha.
This allows you to select other tabs inside the heroes category, right? So for example, you could click on bridge and you would be able to do a mass bridging from there. For that, you obviously would have to
connect. Yeah.
So here we have the ability to send heroes, to bridge heroes, and all that stuff. The summon and duel and quest currently don't do anything. They're intended for future AI integration. On the very left, click on the, oh yeah, there you go. So this gives you a dashboard summary of everything in your wallet. You see everything. And if you scroll down to the very bottom, something most people don't even know is there, is the gas chart. And if you click that little thing on the right, boom, you can see live gas pricing changing, going up and down. This is something obviously the AI monitors for the gas cartel. So whenever you see these lines at the top, the red ones that are touching the top, that's the AI having bundled hundreds of transactions into short time frames. And then the throws are when the AI takes a breather in order to let the gas price go down. So yeah, I've spent hours staring at this. But anyway, that's every 3 minutes. It holds 3 minutes of data and it automatically refreshes itself every 3 minutes. So yeah, you have this, and then in the items, there's an items icon on the left. It's the fourth one, I believe. Same thing, but it shows off all your items. The cool thing is that, so all of these tabs, the cool thing is that they show both realms. So you can see in teal color, Crystal Vale, and then in Serendale green, right?
I'm going to try to see if I can connect. I'm not sure. I was trying to make sure I had the right account connected. Let's see.
That's when we find out you got like 50 million Jewel. Whoops, wrong account.
No, this one's pretty chill. Let's see if I can get it going again here.
So the cool thing about this, the UI here, is that even though right now you're looking at per wallet, you can actually add all your wallets. You have 3 or 4 wallets. Remember, this has nothing to do with the AI. Anybody can do this. So you can add multiple wallets, and then you can see the data across all your wallets together. And that's something that the game needs, right? Multi-wallet functionality.
Yeah, multi-wallet functionality is definitely, especially with,
because that's so annoying, right? Having to switch realms to see anything,
to see what you got going on.
That kills me. That kills me
for sure. And you can try to find you can have multiple monitors and have
That's right.
multiple things pulled up, but every time you switch accounts, this switches the data,
And if
for
you
you as
switch
well.
realms, it's like global, right?
Yeah, yeah,
That's the issue.
yeah,
Switch to Serendale, that's it. Your other windows will all change to Serendale.
yeah. No, this is awesome. I think for me, I've gotten so used to the ability to have everything just working for me, how I've structured it, and the spreadsheet, that I don't use the site as well as I can. But this kind of clarifies how I can combine everything, at least to have a great data source, and then to do other implementations from there as well when it comes to the different DFK helper accounts that I have.
So some people have asked me why we haven't switched over from the Google Sheet to this. And because that was the intent of designing this, wasn't just to be a tool, but also to replace the sheets. So the answer to that is kind of complex. So first, I went to other third-party community devs that had stuff like this, and I said, "Can you please build that for me, or build yours with me? I'll pay you, I'll share revenue with you. Like, let's find something, but I don't want to have to develop it myself." And all
Yeah.
of them told me, "No, we don't want to collaborate." So eventually, I found DCR. And he's the one that built the website. I have no front end experience, modern anyway. And so this is his baby. And he built it, but then we had an issue that he doesn't have much time to dedicate to DFKH. He's the main dev for Evo Versus and a whole bunch of other stuff. And so as a result, what happened is that I would release, how I am. I release 24 features in a month, right? And day by day. And then when he comes in to check and to do an update, he's like, "Oh my God, you changed everything." And so that's kind of the number one issue with switching over from the sheets to the interface. At the sheets, I can implement a feature instantly. Right now, I can go in, make the change. I can tell you to do it, right? I can be like, add a cell that says this.
Right.
And it's done. You've implemented a feature. But with the website, that's a whole other can of worms.
Gotcha.
If we did it properly, it would be a review process, right? 2 months later, and those features wouldn't get tested. Anyway, so the answer is quick development is the reason that we still use the sheets. 2, sheets is no longer necessary. There are a lot of people that sign up these days, and they do not put any heroes on their sheet at all.
Yeah.
Crypto Baby, I believe, is one of those. No heroes on the sheet. There might be 2,000 heroes in that wallet, but none are listed on the sheet. But they've set it up in such a way with automatic settings that everything happens the way they want it to, right?
Right.
Again, no need for the sheet. So those folks, since they can't use the sheet because their data is not really on it, they come here to the website and they use this view to figure out, what's going on, which heroes should I sell, and
Right.
that sort of thing. And that's really the intent of it.
Yeah.
That's not to say that I don't want to move from sheets to the interface. It's actually 90% ready to make that happen on the back end. The issue is that I really can't find anyone in the community to help me with the front end at all. Yes, I've asked everybody. So if anyone knows of somebody, or if you are good at front end, please let me know. Would love your help and would compensate you.
That's a call to action. That's a call to action. Anyone that's good at that front end.
It really bothers me to see others developing. So you have Born to Die's DFK Quester with the stuff that he does and the leaderboards, and then I see ADFK doing their thing, and a couple of others. And I see them all doing all this parallel development, and I just wish we would all do it together. But yeah, I've asked and been told no.
Yeah, it's we're putting it out there. It's out in the air.
Build together, guys.
Let's build together, right? But I do think that that's gonna come. The DFK Helper is not too far away from having that coming. So let's hope 2024 is a good year of networking and continued building, right?
But a lot of people prefer sheets.
I love the sheets. I
Yeah,
love
so
the
there's an
sheets. You
issue. The
know?
sheets you can like, for example, have you ever used QuickBooks?
Yes.
So QuickBooks Online, the big headache is that you're dealing with a spreadsheet, like you're in the journal entry, right? And you cannot copy paste 20 rows, 20 names or classes or prices, right? You can't. You can only do one cell at a time, and you have to
Yeah.
wait for that cell to load. You can even just copy paste and move on, right? It'll delete what you did. You have to wait a second, then it loads it.
Yeah.
Um, whereas with Google Sheets, you can copy paste 2,000 heroes in a second, sort the data in a second, which you wouldn't be able to do on a website type stuff. So there's this issue as well. Most
Yeah.
people prefer Sheets.
Yeah.
I would
No,
like to offer both options though.
both options would be awesome. Both options would be awesome, sure. We have J-Dub that says, what is the front end building, Madison? What are you using to build the site?
Pretty much like the DFK interface. So it's just a React framework. Next. Real simple stuff.
Gotcha.
And it's coded by DCR, which means it's like perfect and beautiful, neat, industry standards.
Yeah.
So it would be easy to collab.
Awesome.
Yeah. Anyone wants to do it? Come
Anyone
on
wants to do it? Anyone knows
yours.
someone? Let us build. Let's build like a community. So man, we just covered a whole bunch of stuff. We went through the AMA questions. We got an update on what's going on with DFK Helper. We went through the trades DFK Helper account, and I'm feeling very ready and very bullish for season 7 of Duels. But I'm also feeling really good about how I want to level my heroes and what it's going to take from trying to speed some of them up. So I mean, it's every time you come, you always leave so many things, not only to sit on, but also to ponder on as well. So I think it's I think it's time that we gave this thing away. I think the bow. I think that's what the people want. The people want. The people want the bow. The people want the bow.
Are like, no. Oh, don't do it. Give away 10 blades, but not bows.
Bows we are. Bows we are. And if you get this bow, if you can just take a snapshot, put it on Twitter, let us know which hero you're putting it on. These guys got some badass heroes out there. And for me, just recently, I made the switch over to then finally partaking in the bad mother cluckers, utilizing my warriors who have been leveling greatly, even though people are saying the miners haven't held their value. The warrior who has been leveling greatly that I never used for any boar hunt, I've now officially made 2 warrior teams, and I'm having 2 wins per day in the bad mother clucker.
All warriors?
Not all warriors. It's the archer warrior knight combo. So archer warrior knight combo. And I was a Holy Trinity fanatic in the regular boar hunts. So it's been very interesting, and a little bit of watching Sticks intern and a couple other guys kind of showed me the strategy there.
Super informative.
Yeah, super informative. So yeah, I have this wheel here that I'm going to give away. Now, some of you guys are already in here from the Twitter post, but if you're here live, okay, and you guys are also going to see me coming on to the Jewelers podcast. If you're here live, just go ahead in the comment section and put DFK Helper AMA, and you'll be entered in here. Now, I'm going to show what I already have on the wheel. Okay, and so as you guys put DFKH AMA, we're going to throw you into this wheel here. Stakes intern, I do have you in here. Awesome. Digital Sniper, I don't believe I have you in here. Let's see. Brovia, I have you in here. Chris Smith, I have you in here as CLS, I believe, from Twitter. Jeremy,
So the chances to win are super
I
high, huh?
have you in here. The chances to win are pretty high, higher than the current, you know, the current, what is it,
Drop
the
rate
daily giveaways for the
oh,
boar
yeah.
hunts? No,
By a factor of 1,000.
the clay giveaway.
Did you see that I won the
um,
top Clayton with 1 hunt?
I did see that. How did
I
you
was
pull
so
that
shocked.
off?
Incredible.
How did you
The
pull
one
that
day that I
off?
slacked, I win it. That goes to show you.
Yeah.
And that 1 hunt paid for every other hunt I've ever done, right? And then some.
Yep.
Because I was like almost $400 in value.
Wow, they are dropping, and the thing is, the drops are good. I think the drops are going to get crazier, especially going to
Right.
this this PvP realm. With
I'm looking
metas and the
forward to the
different
barter.
incentives.
Like I'll give you 2 blades for your bow.
Yep.
2 pants. I got 2 pants, but I want a bow. That kind of thing.
Yeah, we'll see. And the bow is the hot commodity out here, so I don't know if I would want to barter that off. And really and truly, at some point, this current boars hunt season will come to an end. When do you think that's going to be?
I would say don't worry about it and not anytime soon. I think I'm going to be one of the people saying never turn it off. That's just not right. Because,
Mhm.
the cool thing about having more hunts, I didn't realize this when we had just the boars, but now that we have 2 is the fact that you can have hero teams working all day, full time, right? Just on hunts. They do the boars, then they do the rocks. And then we're going to get a 3rd one. And you can do all 3. And then there's going to be 5. And you can stamina vial them so they can keep going into the next hunt and the next hunt. So I just love this idea. And variety is so nice. Like, you get tired of the same tactics. But now you go from the mama boar to the
To the
mad
motherfucker.
motherfucker.
Yeah. It's
He's
pretty
back.
cool. Like when I couldn't figure out the bad mother cluckers, I was like, oh, okay, whatever. I'm gonna
I
go back
rage quit as well.
to efficiency.
Yep.
To this
Back to the
bar.
boars.
And then when I started winning in the bad mother cluckers, it was such nostalgia to go to the boars, kick back and say, "It's a nice vacation,"
Right?
and
That's how I
go
see
back
it.
to.
Yeah. You go to the boars to like relax. It's like your vacation. You know you're gonna win. And with the rocks, you're just not sure if you're gonna win. Like the boars
You're not
used to be.
sure.
So yeah, I love it. And the
Exactly.
fact that they have different
Exactly.
drops.
Yeah. Now I feel more confident about going in and chasing the Excalibur, which I've seen, people land. So, all right. So I have,
Next giveaway.
I have, I have the giveaway ready. I think I have everybody in here. We do have Sticks intern that says, we have Kupo that says boards feel so easy now
Right?
by comparison. Yeah, they do. They do.
But I was crying with
RNGs are RNGs still RNG. Where even for me, I've been placing my paladins in there just to try
Oh
to get
wow.
them extra experience, right?
Oh
And
wow.
if I land, anytime I land equipment, I give it to one of the codexes that haven't been released, the paladin and thing else as well, to kind of get more experience, especially those miners who've been lacking, in experience. And that's how I'm not getting loot to sell it. I'm getting loot to use it for some sort of building. And I'm looking forward to doing that with the Bad Mother Clucker equipment as well. So I think I have everybody in here. Stick says the axe is keeping me doing boards. Yes, for sure. The righteous shall obtain or something. All right, so yeah, we're ready to spin away. I was gonna do a pre-spin where I hide the window. But you know what? We're just gonna keep it organic, and we're gonna go for it. This is the last chance. Last about 30 seconds for anybody that hasn't that you don't currently see your name here, and that you have already commented DFK AMA. I did do a shout out to donate live earlier. As you guys can see, and let me pan over here. As you guys can see, I have the pinned link there. These guys are building. I love what they're doing. They're adding to the economic hardening theory, and we're going to continue finding ways to at least on StreamYard have it be able to show the donations as well. But shout out to two noobs. And so, guys, with further ado, we're gonna spin here. You know, Zealous. Let's say you get this drop, this bow. You know, are you what? Which one of your archers? You know, what kind of archer are you looking to put it on? And are you going immediately into hunts with it? Are you going to boar hunt with it? Or are you going to Batman the Clippers with it?
Me?
Yeah, you get a bow drop
Hmm.
right now. What are you doing with it?
Gosh, another giveaway. If I got another bow, I would make more tries on the rock box. So I try to stay away from the rock box most of the time because I'm like, I'll open, and I have a choice of the two hunts, and I'm like, okay, am I mentally prepared to lose 10 times in a row? The answer is no. Boars, right? If the answer is yes, rocks. And I'm always willing to try a little extra when there's more equipment. I got something new to try. I went up
Yeah,
a level, I got a new skill. So yeah. But otherwise,
yeah.
boars, man.
Boars, gotcha. Yeah, I do. The two teams that I do have for Bad Mother Cluckers, uh, they both have bows, and I was
Board
already
line.
using them for boars, and now I use my archers that don't have equipment for the boars.
But you know what Bolan
Um,
says, right?
what
Do
does he
both.
say?
Both. That's
Do
dos.
both. Do both. Do both for sure. Do both for sure. All right. So without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and give this thing a good spin to see who is the winner of this gore bow.
Woo. I'm regretting it already.
Ooh.
Oh,
That
wow.
goes to
That's what I want.
CLS. I believe in the chat, if I can find where he commented, he has a different name in the chat here. But go ahead and hit me on Twitter or Discord. Congratulations. That is Chris
Congrats, man.
Smith. Let's
Uh,
go. Let's go. He's the lucky winner tonight. Congrats to him. You are the winner of the Gore Bow. We would love to see what you plan and how you're executing on that. If you plan to put it on a hero, let's see that beautiful hero.
yeah.
And let's see
I'm
how
drooling
you're
over here.
looking to but this is the cool thing about blockchain and crypto, right? Not only are you able to get drops and loot from partaking in the game, but you have community events like this in the ecosystem that as much as we want to deliver you information, we also know that sharing is caring, right? So
What goes around
shout out
comes around.
to goes around definitely comes around. So shout out to the winner. Congratulations. Thank you, Zealous, for coming in and continuing to feed us
Yeah.
information
Thanks, everybody,
on your thought space in the ecosystem,
for
DFK
having me.
Helper as a helper. And then we look forward to everything that we have moving forward.
Love you guys. Love you,
All right,
man.
awesome. Guys, we'll see
You
you
guys
on
are
the
great.
next one.
Thank you.
Awesome.